Hello guys. Hi, my name is Wooster and I'm a community lead at Hashed. And I would like to thank you everyone for sharing your valuable time with us and to make discussions on one of the most important questions in crypto. And perhaps I think people have had an experience of being drained out of their own wallet. So I would like to welcome the warriors of the cybersecurity in crypto, starting with Kang from Certik. And we also have Alex from Kerberus. Martinet from QuantStamp. And Petr from Oxorio. So hey guys, I hope you're enjoying 40 degrees out there. It's pretty warm and sunshiny out there. So I know you guys are all very expert in the cybersecurity sector. So could you guys start with a very brief intro on what you do in your company and what your vision is, just briefly, to make yourself presentable to people here.
Yeah, so first, my name is Kang Lee. It's so great to see you here and get invited by Hash at this conference. I'm the Chief Security Officer at Certik. Certik is a large Web3 security company. We offer a comprehensive solution for Web3 projects. And in my view on this is that I think security, the importance for Web3 is so critical, and everybody knows this. And I believe that we still have a lot of work to do because the threats can come from all the places. And that's why we believe all the projects should at least have at least one, maybe multiple security partners that can help them to evaluate the risk from all the places. And hopefully we can help them find and address, mitigate security risk before bad things happen. That's all.
Hi, my name is Alex Katz. I'm the CEO of Kerberus, and we are building what I think is a very needed layer for crypto, which is the security layer between the user and Web3. So it's not working. I didn't touch it. Hi, my name is Alex. I'm the founder of Kerberus and the CEO. We are creating what I believe is a very needed layer for crypto, which is the security between the user and Web3, because we know based on our research that 75% of users get scammed at least once in crypto, and that completely stops mass adoption. It's impossible to bring people that over 50% lose funds. So we created an automated solution for every user to have on their own browser that protects them from sites that are designed or hacked to steal from them. And our effectiveness is close to 100%, and it's proven by 0 customer losses since January of 2023. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Martinet. So I work for QuantStamp as head of developer relations. I also host events East Side Bay and then be a lecturer at a university. In general, I think on the security side, the kind of very end goal, in my opinion, is that we want users to feel just safe and using the blockchain. They don't need to think about this and that, different threats, and it just seamlessly work. And then there's stuff that stops bad things from happening. And I think that is the end goal. And there's a lot of ways that we can achieve that, a lot of layers that we need to build in, including let's say insurance, etc. All these kind of things that we already have in the real world. And we're kind of bringing all these into the blockchain world.
Hi there, I'm Petr. I'm co-founder of Oxorio. It's a security team that focuses on blockchain security and mostly ZK security solutions. So we just a small team that do audits for top tier companies like LiDAR 1-inch and so on. And today we will talk about how to protect the users and protocols to get hacked. Thank you.
Okay. So when it comes to security, I know it means to be safeguarding an assets of users or institutions, but there may be like a lot of different causes that really brings up these risks, right? And there will be many outcomes that comes out from all these unknown and known risks. So I know you guys are like front running this field. Like you guys are very well-known projects in the field. So, I was kind of wondering, within the state of the smart contract vulnerabilities, like, what are some of the cases that you have experienced while you're helping your customers, or maybe like perhaps your personal experience, some like weird manipulation cases that you've seen? We can start with Kang.
Yeah, okay. So we do look at a lot of smart contract, some of them from our customers, some of them just, newly deployed online. When we talk about smart contract vulnerability, I think it's important to first think about where are these vulnerabilities come from. Now, in general, we can consider there are two types of vulnerability. One is because the developer, making mistake or unaware of, certain type of risk. So you end up having, vulnerability being exploited. I also want to let people or remind people that there are another type of vulnerability is the developer, or we can say all those people with no intention, they intentionally bury it in the smart contract. So those are the two types. Now, when you ask about the new trend, or anything happened here extraordinary, I think in terms of developer side, we do see new technology coming, but I think we do see developer has more knowledge about risk, so it's getting better. So there are trends going on there, but I don't think there's anything extraordinary that really shock people. But I do want to talk about the other side, the inserted backcode there. Okay, we do recently, for example, I want to bring a real example. We write a blog about a particular token called Mumi. It's actually a family of this token. And these are, you can consider these are simple ERC20 token, and they are doing seems like all the right thing to make this token secure. The owner denounced the ownership of the contract once they deployed. They have an upper limit on the total supply that they can mint, and they also have all the liquidity pool token locked, right? And then what happened is that after this token been deployed, been used a while, suddenly there's a rug pull. And there's suddenly the token amount being increased, like being doubled or tripled, even with all the right thing happen. So they have a secret backdoor buried in the code to mint it. And now, why are they doing this? In the past, if you think about rug pull, usually they just, clone a code of the token, then they get some celebrity to retweet, some announcement. They even maybe rent a nice hotel. They run a scam. Now that they are actually making the code, start to have with all these secret backdoors, and they also target not only just the individual investor. They're actually targeting those bots that actually doing there are bots actually checking all these properties and making investments. And they are now targeting the individual investor. So overall, with this example, what I want to say is that the attacker actually tried to make really secret, hard to detect backdoors in the code, right? Of course, if people only follow the common guideline, like what I mentioned about all the action you should do with the token, you might fall into the trap. And that's just one example. We use this pattern. We detect about like 100 token following similar pattern inside this backdoor. So there are bad actors that are doing this in a really like organized crime way to do it, and then they keep evolving. Now we find this way, we publish blog, they start to find new way to insert this. So there's a continuous fight between the community, the security auditor, and all these bad guys. And that's not what people think in the past, think about smart contract vulnerability. So that's one thing I want to bring in.
So it literally sounds like an arms race, isn't it? Like the hacker and the defender is constantly like upgrading skills and like finding new ways out. Yeah, it's super interesting to find that like malintentioned so-called rug pulls. It's like everywhere, right? I think we had a really bad rug pulls, I think since the year before, and I haven't been hearing that much rug pull this year yet. But I think when the DeFi was like really like booming up like 2 years ago, I've been hearing like rug pull almost every day, like on a daily basis. Do you guys also have any other episodes that you might want to share?
So I wanted to share that what Kang shared is the complex world of smart contracts and everything that comes with it. But what users need to understand is that they come into crypto, obviously they want to make gains, but they also come for the freedom that crypto brings. But they don't understand that in this freedom, it's like, imagine you went, 200 years ago where there were no institutions, no police, no regulations. That's it. That's the Wild West. And you get normal actors that might make mistakes in the smart contract, and that's a shame. And you also get very bad actors that are already organized themselves to steal from you. So when you are interacting with a smart contract, you are putting trust in the people that did the smart contract, which sometimes it's unknown. So you have to be very mindful of the level of risk that you are willing to take. The lowest risk is to go into Bitcoin. That's the lowest risk, is the only decentralized currency. But beyond Bitcoin, everything has a risk. There are different levels of it. And the other thing I wanted to add is that there's not only malicious smart contracts or smart contracts that were designed maliciously. There's also legitimate smart contracts like Uniswap where you can get drained in because they are just used in the wrong way. So we are still in a very raw era of crypto where almost anything can happen. And until we evolve and grow more, maybe it's going to take 10 years. I don't know how long. Users have to be very aware of that if the asset is not in their wallet and it doesn't have an approval, then it's at risk at all times. And people need to really think about this so that they don't lose all their funds and leave crypto.
I kind of want to double down on the smart contract side. So as the field evolves, like in the beginning, it was really simple ERC20 tokens, etc. But right now we see the smart contract getting more and more complex, right? And so as an example, one of the very hot like EIP lately is the account abstraction, right? And if you look at the EIP itself, 4337, it has so many detailed like things that you should do and you should not do, etc., etc. And these are all for developers to follow. And it is really, really hard to follow all those kind of things, right? And so as a, kind of like developer, you have to be aware of everything. And then these are also places where security kind of like comes in. We help check whether all of these are properly conformed, maybe with tools, maybe with our past expertise. What I mentioned was just like literally one phase is implementing EIP. There's also integration risk. Like as this world gets more interconnected, that is itself a very kind of like interesting risk that we'll see.
Yeah, back to original question, like what the most common vulnerabilities? Surprisingly, is still the reinforcing attack is the most common thing. It's nobody can learn how to do it correctly. Yeah, the attacks become more complex, and reinforcing also much more complex. They just swap the two lines, but still. What's interesting, like Kang mentioned, sometimes you have to check the protocol itself for backdoors. So sometimes you protect not the users from the hackers, but the users from the original protocol. And I also agree with Martin's point that everything becomes much more complex. For example, now it's the infrastructure become much more complex. There is oracles, there is a front ends, back ends, and you have to check the whole spectrum of these vulnerabilities. In addition, we have ZK. This is the moon math. Almost nobody know how it works, and even less people know how to write the code correctly. And it's quite complex things because you have to work with the cryptographic primitives, with the finite fields, and there is a lot of specific bugs for these things. And since it's very popular now, so you have to pay a lot of attention to these things. But the basic thing that you have to check that protocols just get the audit first and they release their code in public. Because, for example, for a new era, there is a blast. There is a lot of hacks and blasts, and what we see, they don't even publish their code on chain, and boom, next day after release, someone stole 15 millions from this code. So just be careful and check that everything is audited well with several auditors and code is public. This is the basic principles that's still the same for the last 5 years in crypto.
I do want to jump in also echo what Peter said. Like, for example, there are lots of new, complexities introduced, like ZK, and the concept, people start to accept it. But again, the implementation is quite complex. Someone need to check. We need some expert, right, to look at those. That's why, like, for example, Peter's, team can look at this. Our other company can look at this. You see, all these new complex ones, as Martinet mentioned, just make the security auditing more important, so that, like, when people use it, really, it's safer rather than just a concept.
Yeah, it's like it seems like the point was where like self-defense is really important in this field, right? Like, you have to do your own research, and obviously, like Kang said, like someone who with the expertise should be doing the jobs for the people. Like, there was like the point that I was kind of getting at before we moving on to the second question. Like, for normal people who doesn't even know anything about coding, like if they don't have any coding literacy, like how the hell would they know whether this project would have a backdoor or not, right? So this is the point where it's always being hindered for using DeFi. It's like you're like, my friends back in Korea, like some of them may have tried DeFi, but some of them may feel very insecure about using DeFis because they have not been using those products, but they've only heard the things about like rug pools and how, not just the smart contract being drained, some of the tokens may have the backdoors that the value of the token constantly goes down. And it just looks like a very natural way of being flowed out, but in the end, it has a like backdoor. So, these stories are more appealing to people who's actually engaging with crypto, right? And who doesn't know well about crypto, but, some people just like to criticize and create mayhem around. And I think these stories are more powerful. So on that end, what can you do about it? Like, as Certik, as Kerberus, QuantStamp and Oxorio, like you guys would have your own solutions to solve these problems out and help the projects to reach that mass adoption, ensuring people that the projects are safe to use. Like, how do you guys do that? We can maybe start with Peter this time.
So for the user's perspective, I think the Alex solution is one of the best. So you can just use more advanced wallets with like fraud prevention. So you can see obviously what you will sign. This is the most complex part for the users for now. You can also check if the companies do security audits. You can't check the code by yourself, but you can see if they did update, did they do constant security updates for this. This is a good common practice, and many protocols got hacked after they did update, but didn't get audit, and they recently referenced to, oh, we got audit, look at our badges, but actually it's not that version that on-chain is now. And that's why, for example, so many Certik hacks reference to they did audit, but at the same time, they got update and not did any others audits. So there's first that you can check before you work with any kind of protocol from user perspective. That's it.
Yeah, I guess from QuantStamp, how we think protecting users, we think about like the Swiss cheese model of security. And when we talk about that, it's like the security is achieved not through like just one tool, right? It has so many layers. One is, well, you have the development, secure development, testing as well. You have audits, and then you got monitoring. And after monitoring, well, of course, there's like safely deployment and then monitoring. And at last, like you have insurance, right? And all of these things differently kind of like safeguards a user's assets in one way or the other, and also the protocols way. Like, and so audit and testing, like, you know, like in the beginning, it's kind of like on the consulting kind of side, helping the protocols, etc., to like achieve good hygienes. Audit, of course, right? And then you have monitoring solutions that helps them to monitor whether it has, you know, got some invariants that being valid, etc. And at the end, like if the unfortunate thing happens, one thing that you really want is the user are still safe with their funds, right? And so that is like where like insurance comes in. And QuantStamp does have like that array of kind of like solutions and partner with, you know, so for example, as chain proof, that is another thing that we're doing for insurance.
I think that beyond all the smart contract vulnerabilities, the first place that users need to think about is that there are good intentioned projects that rug pull anyways, because business is it's a hard thing to do. So sometimes they are well intentioned, the contracts are fine, everything is good, and they still rug pull. So keeping that in mind, it's understanding that when you enter DeFi, no matter, like, it doesn't matter if you checked that the smart contract is verified, that they have an audit, that they didn't upgrade, you can check everything you want and you might still get rug pulled. So coming from that perspective, the first thing is understanding there's a risk in anything that you do. It doesn't matter how much you check. On top of that, what we do is we create a layer before the user even interacts with the website or the smart contract. So we are doing our own check so that you don't have to do it, because the reality is that telling people that they have to do all the research, some people, some smart people will do it, but a lot of people are just not capable of doing it. So I think that in general, we have to create the solutions so that interacting with DeFi becomes a similar thing as interacting with your credit card. When you get a credit card, you're not doing research on your credit card. You're not trying to read the terms and conditions. You know that you get a credit card, you pay, and if something bad happens, you can talk to your credit card company or your bank company, and they will help you get the money back. So we have to create the same kind of infrastructure that we already have in Web2 finance. And for that reason, that's why we created what we're doing. That's why they are also doing the auditing part. There's also a different player that is not in this stage, which is the players that recover funds after they have already been lost. That's also something that has to be improved. There should be a much faster action. I know someone that recently lost $500,000 and couldn't get to the point where the assets are frozen, even though they are freezable. So there's so many layers that have to be improved. I think we are the first layer of defense for users, but at the same time, even with us and even with a proper audit and everything, users might still lose money. So it's very important that as a user, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that's the way to leave crypto. Like you put all your eggs in one project, and like I mentioned, they are legitimate. They did the audit. They didn't upgrade the contract. They verified the smart contract, and they still rug pull. You lose everything. You're out of crypto. So you have to diversify and you have to be aware of the risks.
Yeah, I also agree that to really build trust, allow user to feel more confident to use Web3, applications, we need a really multi-layer or multi-aspect solution. So first, I'm going to echo what Petr and Martinet mentioned, that you need to do the auditing, you need to have insurance. That's one way. And second, I also want to echo what Alex says, you want to really on the front end, you want to make user easy to realize the threat, or able to, at your wallet interface, you know what you should do. So Certik is working more toward, we work more with the business side, project side. So we are now working at the hard, problem that Alex try to solve. But even user side is now our main focus. We did a little job try to help user a bit. So we have this project called Skynet. If you go to Certik website, if you have any project your interest, you want to know the risk, we're not going to ask you to read their tech, audit report, all this. We try to give you a overall score. So there's Certik has this trust score for projects, for token, and we try to simplify the user experience. So at least for the high-risk one, we will make sure to give you a strong warning there. Our solid one, we will give you a more confidence value there. All the scoring methods are transparent. So we actually interact with the project. They don't have to do audit with us to have that list there. We try to rank everyone, and we have all the information, methodology, ranked transparent. That's also why I think CoinGecko, CoinMarketplace, some other place also use our trust score in their list. We try to use this to help user to understand that for when they trade a token, for example, what kind of risky project they're dealing with. So I think we need more of those to allow user to use. We're still doing all the auditing, try to help project to improve their code, but it's impossible to let anyone to read the audit report, right? And in fact, sometimes we do audit project, they gave suggestions, but at the end, project may not even follow the suggestion. Our report actually say, hey, this project is really high risk, right? But then we cannot require everyone to go to read the report, right? So all they know is like, oh, this project is audited by Certik, right? But they should really probably want to look at the risk score. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Can I also add a little more? So Martin mentioned a very good point about ongoing monitoring tools. So now there is a very good fuzzing tools like Echidna and Foundry. They provide option to check constantly all upgrades of the contract without doing the check, wall check again, just by see what the difference, and you can write invariants for fuzzing testing. And it's quite a good tip for developers how you can speed up your development process and make it more secure. Another nice option that I want to ask to Martin and Alex, if you mentioned good thing about insurance. I think it's a new trend that probably is, and also like Certik provides some scores. Probably security insurance companies can use this score. And do you know some good insurance companies that can safeguard users from prevention loss, for example, even after audit happens? Like, do you know something about it?
Yeah. So QuantStamp does have a subsidiary called Chainproof. It's doing exactly that, and so it kind of like helps people, and like you can ensure your liquidity, and going into the protocols that we have looked at already. So,
okay, thank you.
So we are creating our own, I would say, losses coverage, because calling it insurance is a complex thing. But we think that the reason why insurance hasn't been successful in crypto, it's because there are not enough security layers, and there's so many ways that people can abuse the insurance. So if there's so many ways for people to abuse insurance, no one is going to get paid out. So based on our track record, where we have no customer losses, we're creating our own losses protocol for our own product, which is Kerberus Sentinel-3, and we plan to expand it only when there is a security layer that protects people. So sorry to take your time, but we have like 30 seconds left. And one thing that we didn't mention at all, besides the smart contracts, because there's a lot of end users here, if you don't have a hardware wallet, you should have a hardware wallet. You should order it today. One of the biggest risks right now is malware and viruses. There is no protection against it. No antivirus is covering them. And if you have your assets on your computer or your mobile phone, they are always at risk. So please get a hardware wallet. I'm not associated with any hardware wallets, but this is a necessity for crypto moving forward.
Wow, such a wise words from these guys. So yeah, I think that's about it for our panel. And I would like to really appreciate your insights, your opinions and everything. I think you really added a really good insight and value add to our audience here. Please give them a warm round of applause. And this is it. Please remember these great warriors in the cybersecurity era. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.